To the last game of the day session we go between Reynolds Mountain and Pathway as that's blocked up front.
Wow, let's take another look at that. Nice set. She's going in for the kill, but she's denied by number 11. You're making a big statement right out of the gate.
So it's set to the far side. That is out of bounds off the hit from Grace Ketch. And we're tied at 1. Back to serve for Reynolds Mountain is Alina McClendon. And again, a little bit different as it comes off her hand. And it's a 2-1 lead off the ace. McClendon serve now taken to the far side as the Eagles will have to just bump it over. Set in the middle, and that put across there by Sawyer. Set to the outside. That was partially deflected off the hit by Williams. Now Reynolds Mountain to try it again. Played by Jordan off the top of the net. Up front and finally hammered home by Hannah Kendall. It's kind of like she just got to the point where she's like, okay, I'm done dealing with this. You see her at the net get a nice kill there.
Yeah, she really got it teed up.
So 3-1, the serve by McClendon. Now nobody goes for a little bit of miscommunication. Make it 3-2, the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Back to serve for Pathway is Clara Phipps. Boy, that's a nice serve. And that went off the ceiling, and that should be out of bounds, and is.
They can play though. They have been able to play those off the ceiling, right?
As long as it's on your own side.
Gotcha.
If it ricochets off the ceiling down on your own side, you can play it. If it ricochets and goes across, it's considered out of bounds.
There's always a catch.
Yep.
There's always a catch.
Always is.
Oh, that ball came in a little hot for the official. So thankful to have such great best in the business officials here at NACA tournaments. Really.
And it looks like ending up in the nets is Kristen Williams. So the game will be tied up at 4, at least our first set here. Serve from Catch, played in the back row. McClendon fires, and she'll get a kill from there, making it 5-4 Reynolds Mountain lead.
What's this from the mid-row, really?
That's hard to do anything with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to try to field that one.
No. And that is an ace, making it now 6-4. As Haley Webster will check in. And that serve is out of bounds. So the lead now is 6-5 for Reynolds Mountain.
By the way, you can check in on other schools' scores and in the other groups just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/NACA Sports. As well as Twitter.
And that hit into the net, so now a 7-5 lead for Reynolds Mountain. And now McClendon back into the front row. And checking into serve is Samantha Lale. Played back. Sent over by Edwards. And a nice little play at the net from Elizabeth Carter. Tipped the first one over and then hit the second one. You can see right here, good idea on the tip and a nice sliding save, but then she just immediately puts it right back over where Quinn Horn had kind of...
Yeah, she was on the ground.
Ended up on the floor, yeah.
She'd already dove and made a tremendous save.
9-5 the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Serve here from Lale is an ace. Make it now 10-5.
We want to thank our many sponsors, none of the least of which is Score International for our instant replays.
And McClendon tried to time that, missed it a little, but still got enough of it to make it effective. You watch it here, didn't get quite as much on it as she wanted to, but it still worked. An 11-5 lead now.
You really have to be careful letting Reynolds Mountain really get going, because they can put some points up quick.
And that will fall in off the hit by Elizabeth Jordan, and now it's 12-5. And you just said that, and all of a sudden it's a 7-point lead. It doesn't take long as Ketch checks in. It was set across, and look here, it's set across and nobody really goes for it. Matter of fact, it almost looked like they were waiting for each other to go after it, and nobody did. Serve here from Jones. Played down near side, and McClendon, that would have been a good hit, except it hit the top of the net. Oh, did they call that in?
We're getting another look at that.
I mean,
you want another look?
That was out by a good foot, I think.
Let's take another quick look.
Yeah, that's out by a ways.
Back to the action.
In any case,
that was another. No, that was service area that we missed.
So 13-7 is the score.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in to us here at Fort Bluff Camp, home of NACA Sports for the 2018 NACA Volleyball National Tournament. It's good to have a friend and a few times a year colleague, John Chappell, here with us.
Yeah, a couple times a year anyway, get to come down.
Voice of the NACA.
It's fun. I always like coming here. The Fridays are crazy, and that's a long day, but those are so much fun. You get
absolutely
one championship match after another, and then you usually get the big match at night. But there's some good stuff. Starting tomorrow, there should be some pretty good competition. Even today, we've seen glimpses of it, but day one is always a little all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of teams have jet lag, or just that, kind of they've had a long trip and they're getting acclimated to the mountain. Not that it's like 10,000 feet Rocky Mountains, but just kind of getting acclimated to the new environment here at Fort Bluff Camp and getting settled in. Some of these schools, what would you say, 10, 12-hour bus rides, potentially?
Oh, yeah, every bit of that. That hit out of bounds, big game of 14-10. Serve here by Lawson, taken into the back row, and then sent across by Carter. And wow. That managed to get back across the net. What a play by Maggie Lawson to save that.
Pathway is completely stoked. And their Panthers are clawing their way back into this one.
They're hanging around. That's what you want to do. You want to hang around, keep it close, and then take your shot at the end. And we've got an illegal set. Well.
Take another look at this set, see if you can catch that.
Yeah, it's a little off. So timeout here, 14-12, the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Take a break, come back with more of set one in just a moment. So back to it out of the timeout. 14-12 is the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Good block out front by Hannah Kendall, making it 15-12. Played back up front, tipped into the net. Make it 15-13. Reynolds Mountain just not playing all cylinders.
No, we've seen a little bit better out of them today, but it's been a long day for these girls. A lot of great play, pill play in this group up here, and of course that's going to be the same with different.
When you play 8 or 10 sets in a day, you're bound to have one or two that are not perfect. This one has been a little bit rough, but they still hold a 16-13 lead. And in the net is Quinn Horn, so it'll make it 17-13. Serve play back to the near side, then dumped across. That blocked up front, and they said it's not blocked. It actually went off the net. So if we can get a look at it here. Yep, that's exactly what it did. (17-14). And the ace makes it 17-15. It's a very unusual serve that Grace Ketch has. She throws it way up in the air and then just kind of waits for it to come all the way down and almost sidearms it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone serve quite like that. So 18-15 is the lead now for Reynolds Mountain.
Kind of a swat.
Yeah, that's a good explanation, a swat. So the ace there makes it 19-15. Continuing to serve is Kristen Williams. And a kill on the near side by Amber Edwards. Nice placement here. Just takes her time, puts it down the sideline. So 19-16. And that serve is out of bounds.
So, once again, please refresh my memory. We're going, after this game, we will have a short break for the teams to have a bite to eat up here at the camp or have some great food. One thing about these tournaments, they feed these teams well. A lot of young student athletes work up some big appetites.
Yeah, we have one more game tonight. That's at 8:45. And that'll be the last matchup of day one. And the Panthers with an opportunity, trailing 21-16. And another kill from McClendon, 22-16. Now Samantha Lale with the serve. There's an ace. Make it 23-16. Hannah Walsh will check in here for Reynolds Mountain. To the outside. Oh, that's a really smart play by Elizabeth Carter. Just kind of picked the spot in the floor. You watch this. She approaches like she's going to hit, and then just at the last second barely tips it over the net.
Yeah, she really feigned that big keel coming up, and then she just put the little finesse.
So set point here, and there it is. 25-16 is the win for Reynolds Mountain here in set one. Take a break, come back with our final set of the day session. In just a moment, you're watching the NACA National Tournament. start of set number 2, and Alina McClendon serves it into the net. So once again, for Reynolds Mountain, kind of an inauspicious start to this set. 1-0 the lead for Pathway, and that is in. Make it 2-0 off the ace from Haley Webster.
Yeah, and that really was a good serve by Webster. Another good serve by Webster.
So this set to the outside, put across there by Horn. Now Reynolds Mountain to set it up middle of the floor, and that hit into the net by Gabby Sawyer.
Oh, little confusion.
Oh, I guess somebody's
Won the
in the
point.
net for the Panthers. And now a 3-1 lead. So checking in for Pathway is Emily Greer. The freshman will get set to serve. And that serve into the net will make it 3-2. And now Kristen Williams to serve. See what the Eagles can do with this here. And we're back tied at 3. And there's an ace, making it 4-3. Now if it goes serve from Williams, you can see it's kind of in between everybody and just inside that back line. So out front, that tipped across. Now Panthers with it. Back row it goes. Put over there by Williams. And good set to the near side. The kill by Elizabeth Carter. Off a nice look from Hannah Kendall. Really nice set. Carter comes in over the top. As Clara Phipps back in for Pathway. A 5-3 lead for Reynolds Mountain. And we have a lift, making it now 6-3. So her plate up front, just tipped over. A little bit of miscommunication there, but it still works out for Reynolds Mountain.
Yeah, that
didn't look
was
the prettiest.
Yeah, that was a wild exchange there. Almost looked like a double hit there with those two Panthers. They tried to field that one.
And a little bit of a run continues here for Reynolds Mountain, and a timeout to Pathways. 8-3 is the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Back with more here of set 2 in just a moment. Serve here, played into the back row, and that will be a 9-3 lead for Reynolds Mountain. So Kristen Williams to serve. And that is an ace, making it now 10-3. And that tipped across up front. This set a little bit too close to the net, as you can tell. And that serve into the net from Grace Ketch, making it now 11-4. Samantha Lale checks in. She will serve. So 11-5, the lead now for Reynolds Mountain is Katie Foley checks in. And that ball hit inside that back line. Be a 12-5 lead now for Reynolds Mountain as Elizabeth Jordan will serve. And that goes into the net. Serve now by Keela Jones, left out front. That's a lift. Make it 12-7. And ace will make it 12-8.
A little bit of a rally going on here by Pathway. Just keep inching their way back, and that's going to be a timeout by Reynolds Mountain. We'll take one with them. Be right back in just a moment.
Educating students.
Educating students.
To become servants of Christ. Servants of Christ.
Para llegar a ser servidores de Cristo.
To make a difference in today's world.
Faire une différence dans le monde d'aujourd'hui. Einen Unterschied in der heutigen Welt zu machen.
Fazer uma diferença no mundo de hoje.
تغييب الدنيا داير وزار.
Поможем изменить сегодняшний мир.
So out of the timeout, Keela Jones to serve. And now the Panthers get it right back. And that hit into the net by Maggie Lawson. Make it 13-8 Reynolds Mountain. Elizabeth Carter will get set to serve now. Played back to the middle. Bumped across there by Horn. Boy, that's a really good set. I mean, that's, again, you see the bump set from Jordan and the hit from Hannah Kendall. That's
and she
ridiculously good.
It wasn't a set in vain either. It got used properly.
This bumped across. Now Reynolds Mountain will try it again. And another good set. And
another good kill. Just didn't. Another good attempt on a kill.
That was a good dig in that back row.
So we got some really good exchanges from these two teams that have been battling it out in this group all day.
Well, and Coach Willie for Pathway trying to encourage her girls and saying, keep working and doing a good job. They're playing some of the best volleyball they've played all day right now.
Absolutely.
This team Reynolds Mountain is a really good volleyball team, and Pathway's done a decent job. They've left a few things out there,
and this is the time to really get settled in and start building that confidence as they roll into day 2 in tournament play.
Yep.
Are tournament play tomorrow, or are we still in pool play?
Well, we narrow it down to a different pool.
I gotcha.
What happens is it gets split into groups, so all the teams that would qualify for Division I or Division II are in pools by themselves.
Okay.
All the teams that would end up being Division III or Division IV are in pools by themselves. And then after pool play that day, then they go into 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Gotcha.
So you'll either be in 1 or 2 or 3 and 4 after today, depending on where you finish today. And then tomorrow that decides if you're in 3 or 4 or 1 or 2, depending on which group that you happen to be in. So 16-11. The lead now for Reynolds Mountain as Katie Foley checks out. Kristen Williams back in. So we've played to the near side.
Good dig.
And we have 2 hits on the Panthers. Make it 17-11. Substitutions in here for Reynolds Mountain. Hannah Walsh will check in, as will Gabby Sawyer. And back to serve is Alina McClendon. Now, she has not really had her serve work in this match. Match before this she did, but this match, she just took a little bit off it there to make sure she gets one across and in. That's a smart move. So 18-11. Now let's see if she tries to uncork on here. Yeah, there you go. And there's another ace. So
there it was. That was that left hand magic.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could see here, she put a little bit more on it. And really, that's the key. If you're struggling, take some off, get a serve over, get that action through, and then start hitting the ball. So and there's another example of her just hitting it a little bit harder. Set to the far side, put across there by Kendall. That tipped off the top of the net. Kendall hits it into the net. And it's 19-12.
Pretty good looking bump set.
A little bit back off the net, but nothing that Kendall shouldn't be able to handle. Wow, there's a nice save by McClendon after the ball ricocheted off the ceiling. And that hit in on the near side by Clara Phipps. Make it 19-13, Reynolds Mountain. Maggie Lawson with the serve. That's an ace. Make it now 20-13. I mean, 19-14. Excuse me. I'm getting my teams, numbers, brain, everything mixed up. So 19-14 here. There's another ace, make
Wow.
it 19-15. And boy, she's just working that line on the near side. And timeout to Reynolds Mountain. 19-15, they lead it. We'll take a break, come back with more of set 2 in just a moment. All right, I'll move that timeout. 19-15 is the lead for Reynolds Mountain.
We were having a little burger talk on the break, and John said he's really not super big on tomatoes,
Not
but
really.
I've got a tomato.
I like ketchup a lot.
I actually
just not
got
tomatoes.
the tomato when I bought the pumpkins. Okay, I said those pumpkins up here. There's a lot of farms up here on Dayton Mountain. Some wonderful produce that comes from this area. I mean, anyway, really outstanding vegetables. But I got those 2 pumpkins, and I said, "What would you charge to throw in a tomato?" Actually, I said, "What would you charge to throw in that tomato?" And it was a rather big one. And I'm not going to name drop any names of the establishment, but I paid a hefty price for those pumpkins. Okay, I felt like I didn't. She said, just take that tomato's yours. You just take it. So that softened the blow of the price of the pumpkins, and I got that big old tomato home, and I can tell you right now, I learned why tomatoes are considered fruits as opposed to vegetables. That sucker is amazing.
So serve here. Yeah, I think that touched the ceiling. It didn't. So it'll be a 23-16 lead for Reynolds Mountain. Yeah, I mean, tomatoes are okay. Like, if you dice them up and stuff, I'm okay with that, or like on a taco or something. But like big slices, they're not really my favorite thing.
You go and get certain tomatoes. This Dayton's also the place. Big event here is the Tennessee Strawberry Festival and Parade.
Oh, that was a pretty rough tumble over there in the corner.
I heard that actually kind of almost felt that in the gym as she hit.
It's like she's all right.
Yep, she's a tough one.
We're up to set point here, 24-16.
I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in with us here on the first day session of pool play.
And there it is, the final 25-16 here in set 2. So Reynolds Mountain takes a pair. That's going to do it for the day session here. We have a little bit of a break so that they can eat dinner and have our service here in a little bit. 8:45 tonight will be our last game of the night. And that will feature Providence and Heritage. So that should be a pretty good matchup.
That'll be a great game. Yep. 8:45. Stay tuned. Tune back in with us. You've been watching NACA Sports on the home. Go ahead, take that, John. You've been watching NACA.
The NACA National Tournament?
Yep. Fort Bluff Clamp.
I think our brains are shot.
Yep.
So let's just wrap it up. You've been watching the NACA National Tournament.